What's up, my crafty bitches? It's Mystic Muffin here, back with another StarCraft 2 commentary. And up in the top corner here, we have the green Protoss, Fnatic MSITTI? Or is that an L? Could be an L. Either way. And he's going to be playing against the blue Zerg EGIdra. So, we have a cross-spawn location here, and this map has the longest rush distance ever. So I'm sure that you guys have all played on this map before. But anyways, you're basically running from here, there, all the way through here, up across the middle, up and around. So if you're playing against a Protoss as a Zerg, a lot of times you'll be facing a Protoss who will wall off, which is always frustrating. Sometimes you'll see like a Forge Fast Expand. That way they can get out those early cannons that can also shut down a Zerg's early Expo if they so choose to place it here. But anyways, we have the green Protoss going up on his regular scouting route. Chrono boosting out some probes here. Pull up the production tab, and yeah, you see the usual early game jazz going on here. So I'm sure you all know Idra, who's probably the most well-known StarCraft player for his actions within the game. And by that I mean he often speaks his mind when things don't go his way. That's what I'll say. And he's going to throw down that early hatchery. This probe coming through here, we do see that there's a forge on the way, so I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some cannons placed down behind the mineral line here and shut down that early expansion for Idra. He still doesn't have a spawning pool up, unfortunately, so that will kind of slow down any attempts to ward off that early pressure. With the forge finishing right now, one extra probe coming across the map. So one thing we might see, Green Protoss may actually just distract Idra with his one scouting probe, whereas this other one is actually going to lay down that cannon pressure behind the base here. But we'll see what ends up happening. Spawning pool, little over halfway done for Idra. We do see some drones coming off the line, and look at that. With that, we have... Oh! That didn't go according to plan. Usually the toss wants to just fully wall that off, and that'll prevent any type of drones from coming across. Now, this does put him in an incredibly awkward position, because he didn't shut down this expansion at all. Yeah, that's just bad news. So we do have a gateway coming up here. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a cannon placement behind there just to ward off any type of early Zergling pressure. We do have Idra pumping out 2 Zerglings right now. That's probably just to assert a little bit of map control. Grab those early Zelnaga towers, which are just incredibly valuable because scouting is phenomenal. I don't really know what I was going to say there. But whatever. I said something that sounded applicable. What we got going on here? And look at that, just like I said, early cannon there. Now, I don't watch any of these games actually before I cast them, just in case you guys were wondering. These are all just kind of done on the fly, which is why I'm wrong 99% of the time. But look, I was frickin' right on here, and that's all that matters. So we do have Idra poking up with a drone here. The drone can't actually get a free scout because he won't be punched in the face by the cannon yet. Cybercore going down, trying to form off a tight wall there. That cannon will be enough to ward off any type of early pressure, though. Wonderful cannon placement because obviously it won't be the line of fire from any Zerglings. If Idra does try to do a roach bust, it could be a hassle, but that's not going to be the case. He has all his drones pulled off gas. We do have Ling speed on the way, so it looks like he will be trying a Zergling contain here, which always works out well, except for when it doesn't. Because, yeah, well, say Toss were to take up some early air, that kind of breaks the Zergling contain. Because Zerglings don't jump very high, which is their greatest fault in the evolution chain. We do have map being peppered with overlords. That's not an overlord, those Zerglings. Overlord, and that'll detect any type of scouting or expansion cheese going on. I shouldn't say cheese. Cheese is the wrong word there. I actually hate that word. Any type of awkward scouting or awkward expansion, sorry. My mind's all over the place right now. We do have Warp Gate being chrono boosted out, and there is that early stalker on the way. A lot of Protoss players now will cut that primary zealot if they're sure they're not going to get that super early Ling rush in order to get out that stalker to kill off any type of scouting drone. And look at that. Scouting drone done. In a nice little splattery goop of blood. Oh wait, he didn't cut out the early zealot at all. The early zealot was across the map. Oh man. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I just fail horribly. We do have that Evo chamber going down along with a Roach Warren. So even though it doesn't look like we are going to have any type of early Roach pressure, I mean it is 7 minutes in the game, there is that Roach Warren going up, and I think that's to prevent any type of heavy gateway push that our Protoss player is going to be applying. Do we have Sentry out? Sentry will be out early enough to get enough energy for at least 1 or 2 force fields. Well, obviously 1 force field, but at least 2. Roach Warren, 3/4 of the way done, and if we look at production, we do have the Zerg missile attack level 1 coming up. So that will give those roaches the little bit of extra oomph they need to take out that army. We do have Lair on the way. We also have a robotics on the way for, if I can find this, for our green Protoss. And there we go. So if he does, oh look at that! Oh, Idra going with the crazy, well not crazy, but hidden expansion over here. That is kind of a risk. It's off creep. He doesn't exactly have enough units to defend it if there is going to be a push. We do have Zerglings breaking down the rocks here, so we may very well see a double expo for Idra here. And if he is playing the macro game, that's the way to go about doing it. And Idra is well known as a macro Zerg player who likes to sit back, likes to play a reactionary style. So wait, see what the opponent does, and then go about adjusting your build accordingly. We have the Sacrificial Overlord coming through here, so Idra will see, he will see those 4 gates that are up now, along with the Robo Bay. So it'll be interesting to see how many units we see coming into production. We do have the Overlord speed. 8 roaches instantly popping out when he saw that Robo and those extra gateways. Look, we're actually getting 3 more gateways here. So I don't know if our Protoss player thinks he's fallen incredibly far behind, which I mean he is an expansion behind, but that's an acceptable position to be in as a Protoss player. Idra scouting around here with the Zerglings, see if any extra bases expansions have been taken, poking his way in, trying to get a gauge of the actual army size. And here we go. We have the warp-in festivities going on now. We do have a probe coming off the line, so it looks like we will be having some sort of proxy pylon thrown down here. But first he's going to break down the rocks. So we're going to have this kind of Protoss where he pressures, he expands behind his pressure, and then actually solidifies his economy, hoping to do enough damage to either cripple the Zerg or just keep him on the back foot long enough so that he can solidify that expansion. We do have Overlord speed coming up, so we will have these Overlords getting in a little bit of better scouting information than they had before. In which case he will see these just massive amounts of gateways popping out here. We do have armor level 1 on the way. And we have some Zerglings coming around back. He didn't finish breaking down those rocks. He didn't finish breaking down those rocks. Does he know that he's not breaking down those rocks? Anyways, so back to this upcoming battle here. Here goes our proxy pylon. We do have Idra, who's in a phenomenal position here, enough that he can get that nice concave off if these guys come and try to break down this. We have enough creep being spewed out to give roaches that extra speed boost, and we're just dancing back and forth right now. We still have these Zerglings up here. These will shut down any attempt at having a probe coming off to expand there. So that's why I don't know why he didn't get that Nexus down right off the bat. Throw down a pylon, and if needed, warp in a Zealot, because that'd be enough to take care of him. And here's the engagement here. We have Guardian Shield coming up, which will diminish some of the incoming Roach attack pressure, attack damage. And Force Fields are enough to ward Idra back here. Now, I don't think those force fields trapped as many roaches up front as the Protoss would have liked. And here we go, dancing back and forth again. We do have 1-1 Protoss army against Idra's... Oh, see, there we go. That's enough to force him around, just not getting that good position that he wants, especially those Immortals in. Those are just going to be just invaluable to this army strength. We do have 11 more roaches on the way, 6 more Zerglings, whereas we have nothing in production for our green Protoss. There we go, warping in a few more units. And there we go. Idra just rages out of here. So, that's it. We had just enough pressure, enough force field placement that Idra couldn't get a good enough position, plus that 1-1 on the Protoss army was enough to just end it for him. So yeah, that's it. If you like what you hear, feel free to hit the subscribe button. If not, watch more games, and I hope it gets better for you.